I was on the train the other day on my way over the English border to make a booty call, and as always on these occasions I had a little reading material with me. On this particular occasion I didn't even think to look at the book as I grabbed it off the shelf before going through the door. I take it out of my bag on the train and lo and behold, it's Hans Christian Andersen's Fairy Tales. Yeah. Part of the Paragon Children's Classics. I hadn't read this thing for, must be 25 years. It has that old musty book smell, which is kind of satisfying in a difficult way to describe. Anyway, I think. Give it a chance. I'll read the first couple of these short stories. Maybe some childhood memories will come back. So first up, a little tale called The Red Shoes, about a little girl called Karen whose mother makes her some red shoes and then dies. Nice. Karen is adopted by some old woman who burns the shoes because she sees them as frightful. Karen sees a princess one day wearing some red shoes, fancy expensive ones no doubt, and Karen wants them. When Karen goes to get confirmed, that is baptised, she has to go pick out some shoes. Naturally, she buys the red dancing shoes, which she wears to church, not just for the baptism, but for Sunday prayers. This kid is obsessed with these shoes, right? So, long story short, or should I say short story condensed, the shoes are cursed, or some shit. Karen starts dancing and she can't stop. Yeah. So an angel with a sword shows up and says, "You will dance till thou art pale and cold, and thy skin shrinks up and crumples like a skeleton." Anyway, eventually Karen dances past the house of a headsman, as luck would have it. He's a man whose job it is to cut off the heads of wicked men. Well, he very kindly cuts off Karen's feet with his axe, and makes her some wooden feet and crutches, as you do. The red shoes dance away, still attached to her real feet. So now, Karen is repenting for her sins, but the dancing red shoes keep haunting or stalking her, for some reason. She becomes meek, remorseful, devoutly religious. While in her chamber one night, the angel shows up again, grants heavenly mercy, and Karen dies. The end. So, I'm sat there thinking, what moral lessons might parents have been trying to impress upon their kids back in the 19th century with this bedtime story? Pride is a terrible sin, for which the penalty might be having certain body parts brutally chopped off, and the Lord is a forgiving God. If you repent and live out a pathetic, miserable existence, He will grant mercy even to you, a miserable sinner. Yeah, good stuff, Hans. Still, with some time before I reached my destination, I read another yarn. This one was called The Tinderbox. So, a soldier is returning from war. He encounters a hideous witch by the roadside who convinces him to go down into a hollow tree to get her tinderbox and also help himself to some riches while he's down there. 3 dogs are down in this tree, which leads into a wider underground chamber, and these dogs are guarding some treasure. And they have cartoonishly big eyes, one as big as teacups, one as big as spinning wheels, and one as big as the round tower, whatever that is. But with the use of the witch's blue apron, the soldier gets the gold and the tinderbox, and the witch, who's really strong apparently, pulls him back to the surface. Anyway, when he asks the witch why she wants the tinderbox, she's not keen on telling him. So he cuts her head off and keeps the box for himself, because, yeah, Our soldier spends his riches until he has almost nothing left before discovering that the tinderbox is magic and can be used to summon these scary, big-eyed dogs to do his bidding, which he does to restore his wealth. And then he uses this power to sort of kidnap a princess a few times with the help of his weirdly intelligent dog slaves. Eventually the king and queen get wise to the soldier's game and catch him, and they throw him in prison, where he awaits execution. But on the day he's about to meet his end, he manages to get hold of the tinderbox again. He uses it to summon the wizard dogs who proceed to kill councillors, judges, and the king and the queen. And so the people, terrified, shout with one voice, I guess they're terrified, they shout with one voice that the soldier should be their king hereafter. He makes his former kidnapped victim, the princess, his queen. So yeah, bridal festivities follow and the wizard dogs attend the banquet. The end. What the fuck, Hans Christian Andersen? Moral lessons, let's see. If unattractive old women ask difficult questions, decapitate them. Yeah, always a sound rule to live one's life by. Magic should be used to enrich yourself personally and kidnap princesses who you take a fancy to. And, of course, mass murdering people in public using magical wizard dogs is a great way of achieving power and your heart or your penis's desire. Why, Hans Christian Andersen? Why would you write this, I ask? So, I get home, I put the book back on the shelf, but something I find draws me back to it. Morbid curiosity, perhaps. I have a strange notion to write my own fairy tales and publish them one day. Yes, in a dark way, I must reluctantly admit that H.C. Andersen has stimulated something within me. Yes. Or maybe I should leave that notion on the shelf and go fishing instead. Yeah. Anyway, bye-bye, folks.